So, actually, Chelsea is on time this time. We don't have to have a fill-in snark for her to show up. So before she decides to have to leave again, I'm going to go ahead and bring her out. Hi.
You know what? I don't even have anything snarky to say to that. I mean, it was all correct. So
it was all correct.
But I mean, you got to hang out with Jenny, and she's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, like it was still okay.
I think is you were trying to say thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea, for being late last time, because we got a twofer on that one. Not only did we learn how to make GIFs, we learned how to do some cool stuff in Canva.
Yeah, like a background and a thing out of it, right?
Yeah, man. I wish I could pull up my folder and show her. I could share the link, but she sent me a link to stuff, and it had like 6 different things in there. Like this overlay, the So I Did a Thing Live overlay was one of them. And
so you're welcome again.
Yeah, and she was nice enough to send me the Snark Squad countdown video for me to modify as my own.
Yeah, I mean, I've yet to make a countdown video for What Could Go Wrong. So
Restream has some really cool stock countdowns though. Like it's not custom, but it's not terrible.
True. Well, since they sponsor my What Could Go Wrong show or whatever, I have to show their little restreamy thingy at the beginning, and I haven't quite figured out how to do the restreamy thingy and my own countdowny thingy, and then it sounds hard, and I'm like, you know what? Forget it. I don't want to do that. That sounds hard.
You'd rather do your own thingy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second, because I noticed that on all your posts. It's oh, hi Nathan. Nathan's joining.
Hey, we were just talking about things.
We were just talking about you and the dark mode and the snarkiness and all that. We'll get to that in a minute though. So how do you get to be? This is totally not on topic at all, but how do you get to be sponsored by Restream? Do we have a topic?
That is a great question, and I don't have an answer. I got a notification. I got a LinkedIn DM and was like, "Hey, blah 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 blah, just sponsored by Restream, blah blah blah." And I was like, yeah." Actually, I sent it to a friend and was like, "What does this mean? Should I do this? Tell me things." And he was like, "Yeah, totally."
Let me go shut that door so that the phone ringing doesn't.
Hold, please. Nathan, you finally made it on Twitch.
Yeah. And Brett is here. So we were talking about Nathan, and Chelsea, he did that post about dark mode, and Chelsea's post was the one up on his screen. And so he was like, "Hey, since Chelsea's on my screen, y'all need to go vote in her poll," and included the link. And that is probably where the one no answer came from.
So it's Nathan's fault.
Yeah, somebody said, "Oh, Nathan's going to endorse Chelsea. She is definitely not qualified." That's what we decided. Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for that. But I mean, the best part, like we were saying, the best part of all of that is you are totally entitled to your opinion. That is valid, 100%. Yeah. However, I have never interacted with you. You've never commented on my posts. You never liked my posts. I don't know who you are. So I feel like your judgment might not be super necessary to my life.
Right.
But valid.
But valid, yeah. But it's what's crazy about social media is they could have been sitting there just like straight up lurking on your stuff for the past 2 years and then felt like they had the right to put some negativity in there.
Hey, I mean, but though, see, it's only negative if I take it as like negative.
True. No, I had to do that on the dad joke thing too. Like I put the do not disturb on my phone, but the girl across the hall from me has her volume turned up all the way on her ringer. So it's super loud in here.
Hi, Jackie.
Hey, Jackie on Twitch.
I like your Twitch picture, Jackie.
Yeah. I had a Zoom with Jackie last week, and she is just cool as a fan, man.
Cool as a fan.
Cool as a fan. Speaking of cool as a fan, have you seen where they're talking about the rolling blackouts for Texas?
We've already done that this year. Could we not
I
do
know.
that again?
Well, we didn't. The only hope I have is our main line on the road feeds the office to our electric co-op where we get our service. So we may not be affected by it if the office still has to have power.
We've already done that this year.
I know.
We've paid our dues. I don't want to do it again.
I don't either. And my whole thing is where we're like last year. What's the difference? Like what happened between this year and last year?
So many things, honestly.
This is true.
I mean, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but there's like pandemics and presidential elections and like all types of
Snowmageddon
happening.
Yeah, we had snow twice this year and that never happens. We got down to 0. That never happens.
I do like Lupe's empty vessels make the most noise statement.
Yeah.
That's valid.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very true. So I did not get to watch all of your live with Jennifer yesterday. I was in and out doing work stuff.
Work?
Yeah. So yeah, I know. It's overrated, really.
Yeah, that's weird.
What was y'all's consensus on whether or not you are qualified?
Oh, we're for sure not qualified.
Oh.
I mean, that's the whole, the bigger conversation was, what is qualification really?
Mm-hmm.
And, and I posted today about like qualification being a dynamic thing that changes with you, right? Because I would argue that if you went to school 40 years ago to be a teacher, you're qualified, you have the certificate. However, if you haven't been practicing, teaching practices have changed from 40 years ago to now. So unless you've been dynamically re-qualifying. So I mean, I don't know. There's 200 different answers, and we decided that it all really comes down to personal choice. You get to choose who you work with and whether you trust that person and view them as qualified or not. That's up to you as the consumer.
Yeah.
And I really do think that qualifications are, and Rob posted or commented on one of my posts today about qualifications, about how the gatekeepers are kind of going away, right? As education and all of that becomes more and more accessible, qualifications, it's no longer about Ivy League schools and those types of things anymore. Now you can get qualifications from anywhere. And then my next question is, who's qualifying the qualifiers? Like if I created an right now that said I can qualify you to be a life coach, just pay me $3,000 and I'll put your little badge on your website. Like that's a different situation.
Yeah, that's kind of like the getting to be an ordained minister online. All you got to go do. I'm like, there's some. That's not the way the Bible says.
I mean,
take that out of there. Like, how do you really know this person?
It's great for when you need to get married in Vegas. Not so great, for preaching the gospel to people who need to learn the Bible. Like 2 different situations, 2 different types of qualifications. Lupe, my degree is child development, and I have worked in early education for most of my career. I taught all the way through 1st grade, and then I worked as a director. So,
where did you direct? Like, what director of what?
A school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So early education center. My first one was infants through 1st grade. And then my next one was just an early education center. So the tiny people are my people.
So what do you do now? Like, what is 𝙒𝙗𝙑𝙀 growth? Or did I pronounce that right?
No, but it was adorable. I mean, I value effort. I praise you for even knowing that exists, because most people think that the name of my company is what could go wrong.
Oh, I know, right?
The valid. I appreciate.
I always forget about it until I have to look at your profile for something. Like when I looked on it the other day to get your picture off of it or something, and I was like, oh yeah, 𝙒𝙗𝙑𝙀 growth. Or how do you pronounce it?
Laylan.
Okay.
Hi, Eduardo. Thanks for hanging out. You're awesome. So Laylan, that's my daughters. I have Phelan and Alea. So it's kind of a mixture of their names, 𝙒𝙗𝙑𝙀 growth. And Like, well, when I jumped off the cliff a year ago, yeah, it's been like 11 months. I started doing educational consulting across all versions of education and education-related businesses, from like legislation to charter school leadership development to trainings to strategy to operations to accreditation, like anything that lives inside the education space. That I feel like I could help with. People reach out and say, hey, Chelsea, we have this project going on. Do you think you can help with that? And I'd be like, yes or no. And I found myself doing some really cool projects with like companies all over the world that related to moving education forward. And that's still what I do a lot. Thank you. That's what I do a lot. I spend a lot of my time doing that because education is my passion.
Right.
And what I'm qualified to do. Well, actually, I've been in early education since 2006, and I did not get my degree until 2019. So I was not qualified to do all the things that I was doing, building schools and getting them accredited and revamping institutions for, most of my career. I actually only had my degree for 1 year before I lost my job because the school closed. So for one of all the years, I was technically qualified.
I think that's just a perfect example of the qualification thing y'all were talking about yesterday. The certificates don't mean crap on a shingle, really.
Yeah.
And like Kevin brought up in the Encore, he worked for, urologists doing vasectomies or in the vasectomy office. And it made me think about the qualifications. So a doctor has to have continuing education. If he goes to school and graduates, 20 or 30 years ago, but doesn't do any CE hours or keep up to date, is he really qualified to be digging around in my stuff to cut it open?
I mean, I feel like I would have questions.
I would too, and he would not be going to town doing surgery on me.
I mean, and that goes back to what I talked about today was any type of qualification that you require the people you work with, whether that's experience or credentials or whatever, needs to be dynamic and ongoing. Like, I don't care what you have your level of qualification to be. You can say that I need to work with someone who has 17 degrees. I'm okay with that. Or you can say I'm good with working with someone who has all the experience and none of the degrees. Sounds great. You choose your baseline, but my advice to you is that you're looking for that dynamic situation. Like, are they still growing? If you're working with someone who is working on themselves, that's an important thing.
Yep. And it like the degrees and the certificates do mean something, but what are you going to do? It's the ongoing stuff afterwards. Because everything's changing in the medical field, education, whatever field you go into.
Oh yeah. Especially like my brother works in IT. He didn't finish his degree, but so many people in that field have their degree for computer science and those types of things. And the conversation they're always having is like, they can't keep up with the rate that the industry is changing. So they got their degree a year ago and it's already, doesn't matter. Now they have to go back and do something else. But yeah, I mean, my degree is child development. It's a year old, 2 years old, and the research in child development has already changed.
Right.
So it's the responsibility of the person who is being qualified to continue that process.
Yep. Hey, what's up, Cody? What's up, Usama?
What's up, Usama? Bye, Britt.
Bye, Britt. The dad joke champion. So what pushed you over the edge, or what pushed you up to the edge to make you want to go into coaching? And what kind of, and we'll just call it coaching right now, just until we come up with a better term.
Life ruiner.
Life ruiner. What made you want to start ruining lives?
Well, when I ruined my own, that was kind of the kickoff, right? I mean, I've always done a version of that. I've been in leadership since I was, I took my first director role at 21. And so I was leading a team of 25 women who were all older than me, right? And did that all the way through until I was 31. How old am I now? 32. I don't really know. Did it for 10 years or so, right? And so that was and then I worked with those 25 women. And then when I took my most recent role, I ran a team of 75 women. And what I really liked about that was the ability to kind of create space for them to come in and it to be a relationship, you know, in all of that, right? The mentoring and the conversations and those types of things. I really enjoyed that. And when my school closed and I switched to full-time consulting, my first reaction was like, yes, I will have no more, like, nobody will need me. I won't have any text messages at midnight saying they won't be at work the next day. Like, think of how chill my life's going to be without any of this drama, right? You can imagine 75 women. Just give that a minute in your brain.
Yeah,
and,
no, it's okay.
You know, just take that and
let that keep going.
Fill in the gaps however you think. But I first thought this is gonna be really great. I'm not gonna have to worry about all these people and all these things and everything they need and whatever. And for a while it was, and then, you know, and then it was like, okay, maybe I do miss that. I missed part of that team concept and working with people, and helping people find what they were good at, and, you know, empowerment and those types of things. Anyway, so that was kind of going on one side. And then on my side, I started questioning my standards, values, like what the box that I was living inside of, who built that box? Why was that box there? And I'd never really even noticed that I was living inside of a box. And it was like, where did this box come from? I don't know who put this box here. And it was a kind of a collaboration of a lot of different things, right? For the first time in my adult life, I wasn't directing a school. So that was weird. For the first time in my adult life, I wasn't like living in the confines of a work day, you know, so that was weird. I didn't have a team to lead. That was weird. Like, I didn't realize how much of my identity was tied to this role that I had, because I'd never not had it. So as an adult, I just never. Also, you know, another piece of that was I got married young. I was 19 when I got married. And I had just come back from Honduras and I graduated when I was 14, moved to Honduras, came back, got married, had babies. I was 21 when my first one was born and all of that, right? So I had never known a life outside of being a school director, being a mom, being a wife, inside of this very specific construct. And then COVID happened, right? And I like, for the first time, had this opportunity to see that, one, there was a construct built around me, and two, that maybe I didn't put all of it there, you know, and started asking those types of questions. And I had been really struggling with anxiety and depression, and it had been kind of slowly getting worse and worse and worse. And I had been getting help for that and all those types of things. Anyway, I started working with a coach who worked with me on like empowerment, mindset, those types of things, like, and helped me start breaking down this box that I had built around myself. And I also was not in the, I had been working in a church also for my entire adult life. So it was my first time to like not be working in a church in education. And, you know, you leave the church and suddenly you're like, there's a whole world out here. So all of that to say, I had finally had kind of an outside perspective on all of these things that I had just considered 100% truth for me and never really questioned any of it. And as I started working with my coach to kind of to deconstruct all those things, and then I took them all apart and I kind of set them in front of me and went like, which of these belongs to me? Which of these did I set here? Which of these do I feel like still match me? Because I hadn't changed anything in, you know, 13 years. And I started picking apart those pieces and then reconstructing them back into kind of a box that I had built for myself. And just that whole process created so much like freedom and change in my life, so much like of alignment with who I am. My anxiety and my depression have gone way down from a point where I felt like there was absolutely no way forward. There was no way out of like this pain and this depression and this anxiety and all these things. And now my life looks different. And yeah, so I mean, but I look back and remember how much pain I was in, and like the times that I was laying on the floor going, there is no way out of this. And working with my coach, who I'm 100% certain saved my life on multiple occasions, you know, through all of that, because dismantling your life is hard. You have to face some really hard truths that
I can imagine.
probably didn't want to face, right?
Right.
It's really, really hard. And there's so many different layers of it. And as soon as you think, okay, I've dealt with this, and then there's another piece of it, and you're like, okay, that's a whole nother, you know, piece for me. But once I kind of started getting to the other side, and of course I'm still walking through all of these things, but once I started getting to the other side, what I started feeling was there are other people who are sitting in that same pain, that same stuckness, that same like this, where there's feeling like there's absolutely no way out. They're stuck in everything just like it is. There's never going to be a change. There's never going to be anything for them. And I just remembering how crappy that felt was just like, I got to find them. Like, I have to tell them, you know, I don't know what the light at the end of the tunnel looks like for you. I don't even know where the tunnel is or how we're going to find the tunnel, but I'll hold your hand while we figure it out together. And that's what kind of led me to this place that I am now. And it was just kind of this burning thing inside of me. Like, I really, one, I missed that mentoring relationship that I had with my staff when I worked there. And two, I literally watched working with a coach change my life. And just the questions she would ask me and the way that I perceive things, and it got me out of situations that I may never have removed myself from. Not because she did it for me, but just because she allowed me a safe space to ask questions and those types of things. And so I wasn't saying anything to anybody because, you know, that's not what I do. I'm an educator. I do you know, this, that, and the other. And so I called a friend and was like, hey, so I'm thinking that I really want to do this. And that friend was like, okay, cool. Why? Tell me more. And it kind of walked me through this path of all that. And Cody commented, and then I got distracted and I forgot what I was talking about. And so I explained it all, and he was like, wow, you know, that really sounds like it resonates with you and something you're passionate about, and you have some experience that you've done in that, other people's lives as well as your own, and blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not qualified to do that. And he was like, what an interesting term. So you've listed, because I had listed for him like what I do in my day-to-day work and what I've done. And he's like, of the things you do now and the things you've done for the past 10 years, which of those things were you qualified to do? And I was like, for 1 year, I was qualified to do the one thing that I was doing, but not the other 20 things, you know?
Right.
And that was when I was like, okay, this is something I really feel like I want to do. Like, I want to have this impact on people around me and just help them walk through whatever crappy situation they're walking through as someone who just is there. I don't know. I mean, I had a therapist. I have a psychiatrist for the drugs, right? Because drugs are important when you're going through these things. For me, they were. But a coach was so much different for me. And, you know, a lot of people see it as this, a coach is in competition with a mental health expert, like a therapist or a coach, when that's not even it at all. It's very different, the model. And we talked about that some yesterday with Jenny, but I don't know. It's kind of like a passion project. Like, I remember that pain. I remember that experience. And I hurt for the people who are in that place right now without anybody asking them questions or helping them shift their fears into, you know, positive self-talk. And I owe my coach that I worked with so freaking much. Like, I just want to continue the work that she kind of allowed me to do on myself and bring that to the next person, so they can bring that to the next person, to the next person.
Right.
It's a really long answer to your question.
No, that was perfect. I don't know if you have LinkedIn pulled up, but like the reactions the whole time you were talking, like we're like going nuts, or little green hands flying the whole time. It's not, to me, is not unlike, you know, I went to prison and I was there for a little over 8 years, and it took 4 of those 8 years for me to slow down enough to start thinking about the choices that I had made and how I ended up there. And it was like layer by layer.
Yeah.
It was God working on me, but it was just layer by layer. And I wasn't cognitive enough to realize that it was just the healing process and the changing process and the transformation process. But I was reminded of that because it was just a little bit at a time. And whenever you made the post that you were going to do that, I was like, holy hell, like that is perfect. Just listening to you on, different lives and stuff like that, just how passionate you were about education. I just knew it was going to be the same passion, the same digging deep stuff and figuring out the roots of things, and then, patting them on the butt and saying, all right, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I was having this conversation a while back with another educator who, because most of my conversations are still around in that space. Oh, thanks, Lupe. And we were talking about, one of my big things, if you've listened to any of my lives, most likely at some point I talk about co-constructivism and what that looks like inside of education, right? And it means that the ego of the educator needs to change in the future of education, because we don't know, the future of education is we don't know the future of education. I'm just a broken record. I pretty much just say the same thing on every live, okay? So if you've heard me say those things, you have all the information to know. But co-constructivism in education means that the educator comes alongside the learner, and instead of saying, here are all your answers, here's what you need to do, follow this path to get to this predestined point that I've created for you. That's an educator who is saying, I know everything you need to know.
Right.
That's the previous version of the educator, right? But as we move forward in the future, where information is so readily available, we are no longer, as educators, the ones holding all the information, who need to stand in front of them and say, do exactly this. And so we have to set aside our ego and come alongside them instead of in front of them and co-construct this path with them, because we don't know what the future looks like, right? And so that was my job as a teacher. That was my job as a director. That is my job as a consultant, as a strategist, right? I don't go into companies and say, this is what you need to do. I go in and ask questions and say, what's your goal? And then I ask questions to help them get there. And so I was having this conversation, and it's not that terribly different when working in a coaching situation, because I'm not going to go to a person and say, you need to do this, and these are the things that you need to do to get there, and it needs to look exactly like this. It's going to be, where do you want to go? What do you aligns with you? What is it that brings you joy and peace? What is your truth? And then, having conversations to get to that point. And so it's honestly a very similar relationship that I've had, that I've worked in the past, just in varying situations, never as a coach, or whatever you call it.
And I like that it's coming alongside and not telling the person where they need to go. You know what I mean? Like assuming where they want to go.
Right.
But to me, that's an assumption of knowing where they want to go and what their life is to look like.
Yeah.
And that's not the way.
You know the future too. Like what their future should look like, and there's just absolutely no way.
Because the future is very fluid. Like there's no
and becoming more fluid by the minute, I feel like.
Yeah, like you said, you've done education your whole life. Would you have thought 2 years ago you would be moving into ruining people's lives?
No.
No.
I'm going to be a director for the rest of my life.
Yeah, right.
And suddenly I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had someone challenge me like, okay, but you've always said that your passion is to move education forward. So you're just giving up on that to go do this other thing. Well, no. One, the simple answer is no. The longer answer is that as I've been working, the reason that I moved from teaching to directing, and then even before my school closed, why I moved from directing to consulting, and then as I've gone forward in my work now, was because my goal was always to multiply my impact in education. Because when I was in a classroom, I could only serve 12 kids at a time. When I was directing my first school, only 100. My second school, only 240, right? And at some point you're going to max out. I could only serve, so then I started doing this math, right? I can serve 240 students a year times the next 30 years. That's only ever this number, you know, and thinking that's highly limited to impact education as a whole, which was my bigger goal. And so when I started working in consulting, then it was, okay, cool. If I work with this early education company, which impacts thousands of students every year, even if it's a small piece of work, I'm allowing that impact to multiply.
Right.
That was my work inside of that. And as I started digging down, like, and having conversations with other educators about what are we really doing to move education forward? What does that actually look like? Because I do some work with like legislation, bill review, grant funds, whatever, you know, that's a big piece of it. But the even bigger piece is that, like I said, the future of education is we don't know the future of education, and that is scary. And we're asking educators and parents and school leaders and city leaders and really everyone to come alongside students and help guide them into a future that we don't know. Yeah. And that requires a lot of emotional intelligence and like the ability to know who you are and be confident in that from the adults involved.
Yes. Yes.
So if you really break it all the way down to how are we going to move education forward, it's how are we giving the adults the tools, the empowerment, the mindset that they need to create a space for students to then take the world and move it forward, right? Mm-hmm. So my argument is that if I take it all the way down and I'm working with adults to build a safer space within themselves, they will then in turn build a safer space for the people, for the learners, for the children, for the other people around them, which will then ripple out into education. And I mean, that's kind of how I worked backward into it. Whether or not people agree, I'm saying that I still believe that I'm having an impact on education overall, parenting or in formal setting, through having others step into their own power of who they are and what they can do for the people around them. That's my second spiel.
So are you going to continue to do consulting?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's my, I mean, I love that. I love that piece too. And I have some really great companies and people that I work with that I wouldn't walk away from, you know, because I've built so much relationship there and I love it. And I do still want to be able to impact education from as many sides as possible. So I want this to be kind of one piece that I do in addition to all these other pieces, because this whole monster of education is a huge thing that will never be changed by one action, you know, the most ways.
And, you know, going back to whoever said, are you going to get rid or not do consulting because that's what you love, or not be in education because that's what you love, and you said no. Even if you had decided to get out of education, that would have been okay.
Right. Yeah. Because
passions change, life courses change. Like that's your whole concept behind coaching and not telling what to do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I was listening to a podcast this morning of I can't remember her name. Fawn something. I can't remember. Fawn Clover. It was like something very gardeny. I don't remember that. She was like a broadcaster and had been, you know, a TV image in the UK from the time she was 15 until the time she was like 35, and then suddenly and she had a really great job, a lucrative thing, decided to drop all of that and move over into like the mental health space. And people were kind of asking her the same questions, like, why are you have such a great job? Why would you walk away from something you've spent your whole life building and all of that? And her answer was very similar to what you were talking about, was we don't have to be one thing or the other. You know, we can be both. We can be both and. No, thank you.
Hi, Loopy.
We can be both and. We don't have to be either or.
Right.
And I think, you know, there's so many things that are integrated in both pieces, in education and in coaching, you know, the mental health and the empowerment, all those types of things. So many of the things that I preach in education to educators are the same darn things that I'm preaching as a coach, you know, in that space. So the words that I'm using haven't really changed, except I'm not using the word learner and educator anymore. Yeah,
exactly. So have you taken on any clients or customers or whatever you're going to call them?
Amazing people. I've started working with a few. Yeah. So it's been fun to get to know them and to kind of figure this out together.
So how long have you been how long ago did you jump off the cliff and say you were going to do this? It wasn't that long, was it?
Well, it's been like 4 weeks.
Yeah, something like that.
4 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. No, let's see.
Awesome.
It's been shorter than that because I was like internally saying it to both my friends, you know, Jenny and Kevin, like
Yeah, your two
all
friends.
of my friends.
Yeah.
I was talking about it with them, but I think by the time I actually posted about it on LinkedIn was maybe only 3 weeks ago. It's not been too terribly long when I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to say this out loud, because you know what happens when you say things out loud?
You have to do it.
You have to, people are like, oh, cool, you're saying things. Either we're going to hate what you're saying, or we're going to ask you to do what you're saying. Both are concerning.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it hasn't been very
The Bible says faith comes by hearing.
I mean,
Something about, whether it's in your walk with the Lord or even just starting a new business, there's something about saying, I'm going to do this.
yeah.
And then not just telling your two friends, but putting it out there for, you know, the world to see.
Yeah. Luckily, I mean, my mindset is very much what could go wrong. So I'm used to just like jump off the cliff. If it flies, cool. If it doesn't, you know, cool, then I'll find a different cliff.
Yeah, exactly.
That has served me so far.
Kenneth is on LinkedIn and Twitch.
What? My God. Overachiever.
I know, right? So what, see, this is what happens when you don't have a plan. I had a question, and I usually write them down.
Yeah.
But I did not do it.
So did you decide on what my title should be?
What were the two options? Life ruiner and
Life ruiner, and I help your life suck less.
help your life suck less. That should definitely be your LinkedIn headline.
I was looking for a little vacuum. They don't have a vacuum, just a vampire, which could also work.
It could work, yeah.
This has been a big topic of conversation with like my cohort. I'm working with other people who are doing this coaching thing, of like what you call it, you know, like what do you say that you do, and do you have to have this title, and you know, what does that mean, and all those types of things. And that's been super challenging for me, because I feel like mine is more generalized, because I want empowerment and mindset for, that's kind of my thing. But
Right.
It's also way too generalized. Then you're like, well, you're supposed to niche down. I don't really know. Like, there's too many options. So I just get stuck in it. And then I just start saying, I'll make your life suck less. And people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, I make your life suck less. And they're like, and what does that mean? I'm like, I make your life suck less.
Right. Make your life suck less. I ruin it.
I heard you said it.
Yeah. No, I don't have a problem. Kenny, you do you, baby. Savor the flavor of the awesomeness in that.
I'm impressed. I mean,
Yeah. I got somebody on YouTube. I've never had anybody watch it live on YouTube.
I've only had like one person or maybe two people one time. Cody did send me an elevator pitch one time when I first started doing What Could Go Wrong, or when I first started doing whatever it is that I do. Originally, I was like, I don't know how to pitch this either. See, I never know how to say what it is that I do.
Yeah.
And Cody sent me like a 30-second blurb. It was perfect. So thanks, Cody. Just go ahead and work on my next one.
You talking about for like your intro video?
No, it was just like, what do I tell people when they ask me what I do?
Oh,
I don't have a elevator pitch, because I do. I searched Chelsea football club in this live.
That is awesome.
I mean, I'm excited you're here.
Like, I am too, and I'm really impressed. Like my little YouTube channel with hardly any subscribers came up in a search with Chelsea. Like, that is awesome. Like, I don't even know how the algorithm did that, because I don't think I have 40 views between all the videos that are on there.
I am super impressed. I may be more impressed with that than I am with Kenneth being on two platforms at the same time. That's awesome.
Yeah. But YouTube is a cool thing though. Like and Jenny's the one that suggested it to me. to have all your videos in one spot.
Yeah,
Rather than trying to do it all on LinkedIn, where it's just ridiculous to try and find it. Like you couldn't even find the link to this earlier to post it in the post.
I know.
Yeah,
All of my lives automatically load into YouTube, which is great.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, I don't want to butcher your name, Wakar. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. Chelsea is starting a new adventure. She is going to be ruining people's lives by making them suck less. Basically coaching. But we don't want to call it coaching.
We don't like that word.
It's not a good connotation. So just helping people that are kind of stuck and don't know where to go or what to do, or maybe they've had some shifts in their life that kind of leave them devastated or lost. Chelsea's going to help them peel back the layers and get unlost and unstuck.
And maybe play some football along the way.
Yeah, maybe play some football. Although Chelsea football sounds more like UK football.
Yeah, Chelsea FC. They won some kind of like really important championship, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
I would say what that was, but I would butcher that too. So
yeah, I don't follow soccer, so I don't know.
Chris, what are you jealous of?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what are we jealous of, Kenny?
I'm so confused.
I am too. I think they're having a private chat in Twitch we don't know about.
I don't know. Oh, what cliff did I jump off of, Kenneth? Like, I have a video of me jumping off like a cliff at a trampoline park, and that was kind of thing, but that's just the the picture of me like always jumping off the cliff to try new things.
Yeah, in the UK you do call it football, not soccer. Sorry. Totally off topic, but I never could figure out why we call football when it only gets kicked like 4 times a game.
Listen, these are valid questions. I also thought that the UK version of football was spelled with a U, like FUTBAL.
That is how it is in Spanish.
Oh, see, I am
FUTBOL. If I'm not mistaken, that is how they do it in Spanish.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Football.
They're going to kick us out of this whole thing.
Cody said, I missed it while we were talking somewhere. I can't find it. Cody said he'll have another elevator pitch for you.
Yeah.
There it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have enough screens to do that, Kenny. I need one more screen to do that. I have LinkedIn over on one, but I have StreamYard on the other. Well, I'm really excited for you. Like if I was thinking about being coached by someone, you would definitely be my number one first choice.
It sounds like totally fun experience for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
We do call them chips. And in the UK, they call French fries chips.
I love French fries and chips. So
whatever you want to call them. Yeah.
I don't care what you call them. Just let me eat them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So if people I guess people can just shoot you a DM. If you're on YouTube watching this and you want to be, if somebody by chance Googles Chelsea football later on and this comes up and it speaks to you because God needed you to hear this or something, then the link to Chelsea's LinkedIn is in the comments on YouTube already. So you can go to LinkedIn, connect with Chelsea, shoot her a DM, and she will help you get unstuck and help your life suck less. We really got to think of a way to word that so it doesn't sound crappy. Not that that sounds crappy, but ruining lives, like that's
the whole
I love
point.
it, but I know
Because
y'all.
it's kind of like, wait.
And it will
what?
make you stop and think, wait, what?
You know, I had to have a scroll stop in there somewhere. And I did, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago, start a a TikTok channel, which I did not have one. But Jenny sent me a TikTok for like the promo for the live that we did yesterday. And it's like, I need to create one like that. So I created my own, and then I got lost in TikTok land somewhere. And now I've created these TikToks. Apparently I have a channel. Like, it's way too much fun. Reconstructing, dismantling, and then remantling, which is the word we've created, remantling. It's not a real word, but it is now.
Yeah.
To dismantle and remantle your life.
And that's another thing people are going to get if they have you as, you know, their life suck less year person, is all kinds of new words that aren't even close to being in the dictionary, but have all kinds of meanings.
Isn't that exciting?
It is exciting. You're like a damn thesaurus or something.
I know. I'm always excited about the things that come out of my mouth sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, ooh.
She'll say something and crack herself up.
I do crack myself up with this. I was getting on somebody's live or somebody's podcast, and it was recording, not live. And she was like, so if you say something that, you know, you want to retract later, just let me know and I'll take that off. And I was like, listen, like, it's too late for me now. Like, I've done too many live shows at this point. Yeah. So whatever comes out of my mouth, just assume it's good to go.
Yeah. Helping your life suck less, ruining lives. That is, like you said, it's a stop and scroll thing. It's the shock factor of wait a minute, what?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Jenny and I were having that conversation about, you know, because someone was giving her a hard time about ruining lives or something like that, right? And so it actually came from a conversation that her and I had, and they were like, I would love to ruin people's lives. Yeah. And that's kind of where it started. And then we did the Wednesdays are for ruining lives thing last week. And then you were like, hey, let's do this on Wednesday. And I was like, Wednesdays are for ruining lives. So it totally works out.
As a matter of fact, I sent myself an email so I would not forget to use that hashtag whenever I made the post.
Whatever works.
Whatever works. Yeah.
Whatever works. Well, we're doing that whole mini series on why we're unqualified. So like Ariel and I do tomorrow. And then next week, Joshua Cruz, who is a new friend of mine, is getting on with me to talk about it. Rob Gilbert is getting on to talk about why he's unqualified, and Jonathan Tesser. And so we're all going to do like lives about just why we're unqualified, what it means to be qualified versus unqualified, and just continue to debate that topic until nobody wants to hear about it anymore.
I think that is freaking awesome.
I mean, why not? Yeah. And if you haven't already gone onto LinkedIn and voted on if you think I'm qualified or unqualified, if you told you that, feel free to click either button because both of them make me smile. So, you know, you are valid in your choices, and they both kind of make me giggle because when someone says, yes, you're qualified, I giggle at that. When someone says, no, you're not, I giggle at that too. So like,
it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. I do not watch football.
Yeah, I don't either. Eduardo does, because he just said, he popped back in here and said, and he spelt it with the FUTBOL.
We needed him earlier when we were having a conversation. Yeah. I'm just going to put that on my headline.
Yeah, right. Put that on my headline and suck it.
Oh boy.
That didn't sound right. You know, like the saying, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah. Came out a little bit differently.
Yeah, it did. I'm sorry.
See, that's what happens. That would have been one of those things where if we were recording it would have been like, take that part out. Yeah. But because, you know, that's hard.
It's there forever.
You got to go with it. The internet is forever. Yeah. So sorry about that.
Yeah. So anybody watching, that was a slip. I'm sorry. I did not mean that crude.
But it is me.
Oh man, yeah, Jackie's laughing.
Good. I don't have time for sports. 3 kids.
Yeah, that should sum it up.
No,
Nope, not quarantine.
none of that.
Not at
Or
all.
clip it. Yes, Jackie. There's going to be a clip of Chris running around saying, "Put that in your LinkedIn headline and suck it."
Oh my gosh. So please don't anybody do that. I don't know how to do that. Like my video editing skills are like non-existent. So when I do a video post, like you get me either recording on StreamYard and then posting it or on my phone and posting it, like that is it. That's all I know how to do.
That could be a wonderful GIF. Like, think of the possibilities for that GIF. So many possibilities could come from put that in your LinkedIn headline and suck it. Your descendants are going to find this.
Oh, where'd it go?
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
The possibilities are endless. What could go wrong? I've become blurry at some point.
Yeah,
so
you
I
did
don't know
that.
what happened with that situation.
I bet you're right. Wakar. I hope I'm saying your name right, bro.
How do I not be blurry?
I don't know what happened.
I don't know. You started talking about.
Did somebody in your house get on the internet? Are they sucking up your Wi-Fi right now?
I am the only person here, so I hope not.
That is weird.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. I mean,
it's like the beauty filter, you know, it takes away all my blemishes.
Yeah, I mean, Jenny's about half blurry and skipping all the time anyway with her raggedy internet, so it's okay.
That's true. I know. A lot of times I'm having conversation. Like I was on that live this morning with Jenny and Mindy and Anne Maria, and I was in my car because I was driving back from a live like thing that I had to do. And so I just pulled over in a parking lot on the side of the road, and I couldn't, none of them were moving. Like their faces would freeze and all I could hear was them talking, but I couldn't see facial expressions or like, it was a struggle. I need to see the person. I don't even know how to have phone conversations anymore.
I know, right?
You're like, I can't see your face. If I do that, is that helpful? No. Am I making it awkward? I could be like Kevin.
I know. And what's so crazy about Jenny is she's like got the fancy equipment. Fancier equipment out of everybody. Like she's got the nice the lighting, the high def stuff going on, the background where everything's just perfect, and her internet just sucks.
Mm-hmm. She is legit. Oh,
so am I frozen or something? Is that why you keep doing that? Or you?
No, I'm trying to make me unblurry. I think I did it. Did I do it?
Mostly.
Trying
to get the camera to focus or something?
Yeah, I'm like, if I just be really awkward, will it focus?
What's up, Michael?
Michael? Welcome to the party.
Yeah, with Chelsea. Here, I can do it too, y'all. We'll just kind of go back and forth.
We call this the Kevin.
Yes, this is the
Kevin. Cody will eventually show up in my gift section like yours did. Yes.
Yeah.
Shake the camera, Eduardo says.
Now that was a gift.
Hello, is anybody there? No, yes, okay. I don't know if it worked or not. We're just going to call it good.
Yeah, right.
Welcome, Michael. You have come for the most valuable part of our conversation, whatever it is that we're doing.
Trying to get Chelsea's camera to focus.
It's fine. It's fine.
So is that going to be the name of your business? What could go wrong coaching? I know you're using that hashtag. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Yeah. I just threw it out there as a hashtag because I messaged Jenny and was like, I want to do this for real. Like, I'm ready to do this, to jump off the cliff. Michael, don't even bring that nonsense.
Yeah, I know it.
Take your nonsense. No nonsense. Okay, not even engaging.
You were going to write? Didn't that win for the book you were going to write?
Probably, yes, I think so. Like, I'm not even going to engage in that because I know you're trying to antagonize me, and I won't engage in your bullying. I don't even know what I was saying anymore. I messaged Jenny and was like, I want to do this. I really just feel like I feel super passionate about it, and I'm ready to just jump off this cliff and see where it goes. And she was like, then do it. I was like, I don't know, I can't, because I can't, like, what about this and what about that? And the conversation was like, when have I ever been concerned about jumping off a cliff before? Like, why is this the scary cliff? And then I just did it, and I didn't have like a name or a theory or a tagline or anything. So _coaching, that just happened. So we're just running with it.
Sounds good to me.
Nathan, you're all blurry. I can't even see you because you weren't invited. Oh, you're not here. Houston's better than Dallas.
Oh.
No.
So you know Kenny's from I think Sugar Land, which is down south of Houston, and Eduardo's from Dallas.
Okay, but I'm on Eduardo's side here.
Well, you're from Dallas.
First of all, Fort Worth is better than Dallas and Houston. But if we're comparing just Dallas and Houston, then we're gonna have to go Dallas. But if we're looking for like top ranked, then Fort Worth is where we're going, and that's just how it is. It's also pronounced GIF.
Yes, it is.
So.
So why is Fort Worth better than Dallas?
First of all, it's cleaner, and the people are better.
Oh, so you're from Fort Worth?
Yes.
Okay.
Fort Worth is the bomb.
Okay.
Thank you. And I'm in downtown Fort Worth right now, so I could walk downtown and go hang out in the museums and all the beautiful things that come with it. So.
Okay. You ever go to Billy Bob's, or are you past that stage of your life?
Listen, my dad, because my parents were divorced, and he would have me, on the weekends, and he didn't know what to do with me. So I remember him picking us up and taking us to like Billy Bob's and stuff like that when I'm like 8 and 10. Looking back on it, I'm like, was that the best choice? Was it?
I know, right?
Thanks,
Cody.
Hi, Cody. Fine. I turned out fine. I turned out okay.
Well, did you see any good concerts while you were there, though?
Probably. I don't know.
You're young. Like, who are you going to even know who these people are?
I mean, we're talking 90s country. So
I grew up on 90s country.
Yeah, like Travis Tritt and, all the George Strait, all those things. I don't know.
Yeah, like whenever I was DMing you about coming on here and I was stoked about Neil McCoy being downstairs, you were like, who's Neil McCoy?
Mm.
Do you know who 3 Doors Down is?
Do I what?
3 Doors Down?
I know 3 Doors Down.
Okay, their bass player was down there too, filming. He's moving over to country, but he was down there filming, co-starring with Neil McCoy in this little low-budget movie they're shooting here. So I got a picture with both of them.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I
Fort Worth.
don't know who Neil McCoy is.
I don't know, man. Fort Worth has the best belly dancing.
What the?
Like, I want to know how you have this information.
I know. Isn't he from North? He's from North Carolina, South Carolina.
Also, if you're saying best, then that means you have other things to compare it to. So
Right.
What has the second best belly dancing? These are my questions.
These are like, and how did you end up in Texas watching belly dancing from? Michael, which Carolina are you from, Michael? I don't remember. The purple state, whichever one that is. I think it's South Carolina.
I don't know. Kevin always gets it wrong, and now I'm just confused.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm waiting on his answer.
Type faster, Michael.
Yeah, I know.
We're all just waiting on you.
We're waiting on the edge of our seats to find out how you end up.
I write and I know things. That's a terrible answer.
North Carolina. All right. My bad, Michael. Sorry about that. North Carolina.
Well, at least I know now.
Yeah, right.
It's because of the delay that doesn't exist on Twitch.
Yeah.
I've been telling y'all for months to get onto Twitch. I stream on Twitch all the time. We've had this conversation. It's not my fault y'all don't listen.
And there's not really any advantages to doing it to Twitch other than people like watching it on Twitch.
Yeah. And it stores it there. Like I have a channel on Twitch, and so it stores all my previous videos there.
Permanently?
Subscribers there.
Does it do it permanently, or does it only keep it? Really?
No, it keeps it. Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just like 15 days or 14.
Oh, I could be wrong. I don't really get on it much, but I know there's like subscribers that are there, and then it has videos, and maybe it does only 15 days. I'm not a pro at it, but people come in and comment, and then they'll get notifications if I go live because I stream.
Yeah, I get notifications when you go live.
Yeah.
I followed you.
And you can clip on Twitch, which is pretty cool.
Which is what? Like you can take the video clip out?
Yeah, you can like capture a section.
Oh, the audience can do it too. Oh, crap.
Yeah, so like my first live that I did, someone caught like a clip of me and Julie, the lady I was live with, doing a thumbs up, and it became, someone created it into a GIF. You should Twitch, Michael.
Yeah. It doesn't. That's what Teresa told me too, is that I needed to get on Twitch because you can watch it on your phone better than you can watch LinkedIn Live on your phone.
You can pretty much use any app on your phone better than you can use LinkedIn on your phone.
Mm-hmm. Do you have an iPhone?
No.
Oh. Here lately, you have not been able to post GIFs, Michael, on an iPhone to LinkedIn from an iPhone.
That's a natural consequence of buying an iPhone.
Oh my God.
I can't help you. Android is the obvious way to go.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. I think we did it.
I think we did.
I'm super impressed that Kenneth is able to type those words scrumptiously, deliciously over and over, spelled correctly, because I would have typed them all wrong every time. Thanks for hanging out.
We appreciate you randomly finding us and dropping by, man. And then you stuck around. Like you looked for something else and then you stuck around, dude. That was awesome.
You're our new favorite.
I know, right?
I need another follower on Twitch to make both followers.
I haven't even looked to see how many followers I have on Twitch.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, my iPhone 10R does not do GIFs.
Does GIFs good? Does GIFs good? This sentence, like I can't even make this sentence. I'm offended by your sentence. I think if you get like 50 followers, there's something special that comes with that, but I don't really know what it is. I only have
because Luke did a campaign a couple months ago about trying to get to 50 where he could have fruit thrown at him or something. I don't remember what the feature was.
Because who doesn't want fruit thrown at him?
Yeah, I know, right?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Well, Nathan, I'll come find you. I don't know that I even follow anybody on Twitch. You start putting Chelsea in all of your titles.
Since you're on my channel, if you want to hit the subscribe button, I have the most random content probably on YouTube. So,
just start putting Chelsea in the title of all of your content, and then you can maybe just get random Chelsea FC fans random days. That sounds fun.
This is true.
And they'd be like, why am I here? Why am I staying? What is happening?
I know it, but I can't look away. It's like
I can't look away.
It's so terrible. I can't even look away. Oh, man. Well, we did the damn thing.
We've had our fun.
We did. And I appreciate you very much for coming on. I'm super, super excited for you. Like I see it and I can just see you doing it and being passionate about it and peeling the layers back and encouraging and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I do have an Instagram. Chris, are you on Instagram?
I'm not. I am only on LinkedIn. Yeah, Nathan's got he's got a live in an hour. Isn't that right, Nathan? At 7 Central. I think his is at 8 Mountain, 7 Central, 6 Eastern. So his starts in an hour, and he has Ariel Lee tonight.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Where they're going to talk about Ariel. Who is that? I don't know her, Nathan.
Ariel.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah, they're going to be talking about everything but what she does for a living because she can't do that on
correct.
video.
My Instagram is 𝙤𝙤𝙑𝙝. I had to look it up.
And if you want to see some ab pics, you can go follow Kevin Logan Jr.
Oh yeah, that's true. There, I put it as my thing. I had to look it up. It was hard, but I found it.
Yeah. Yeah, Jackie, it's hard for me to catch Nathan's too because when I leave here, I do them on my lives at work because my internet at home sucks. There'd be no way I could get through a live without it cutting out on me. So I do it at work. So by the time I get home and eat supper and spend time with the wife, it's hard. But I always catch them in the next morning, or try to. Well, cool, man. Y'all want some life coaching? Can't even say that without shuddering.
I know, like, don't say that.
Yeah, if you want your life to not suck anymore and want it ruined in the best way possible. And you can DM Chelsea, but I think it's cool that like you and Jen are kind of playing off of each other and doing your own different kind of ruining lives, but doing it together at the same time. Like two totally different niches or or whatever. But then y'all are like, oh, wait.
Yeah, I know. She does all kinds of really cool stuff in the career, toxic work environment stuff and things over there. So it is fun to get to do that. Bye, Jackie. So, all right. Awesome. Well, we did it.
We did it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Oh, you changed. Oh, that's what you changed it to. 𝙤𝙤𝙑𝙝.
That was my Instagram handle.
That's your Instagram handle. Yeah.
This is how good I am at LinkedIn.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. I appreciate everyone, and we will see y'all next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.